Hey everyone, this is Daniel,
And I'm Jun,
and we are
Korean.
American. June, my voice cracked a little
I
bit
know.
there.
And you have a new look.
I'm wearing a mask today
Yeah.
because my kids have been sick,
hmm
and I want to be sure not to get you sick, June, because
Mm.
you're going on vacation tomorrow.
Yes. Thank you. I appreciate your gesture, but it's really fine. I like the all black look today.
All black with
Yeah.
the rocking the headphones for the feedback.
Is
What's this
it
called again?
headphone? What?
No, when like you're playing in a band and you have to like there's a term for this. Oh my
Monitor?
monitor, yeah.
Yeah.
In your monitor, yeah.
Yeah.
But
It's not COVID, you said.
I mean, we didn't test per se,
hmm
but the symptoms have not been bad. But it's just mild sore throat. That's it. Yeah. But
I've never I don't think I've ever seen you sick.
I believe I'm pretty resilient.
hmm
I did get COVID
hmm
when it was going around, but overall, I don't get sick very often. Yeah.
I don't get sick very often too.
Ah.
Yeah, I think like it's very rare that I get a cold even.
Yeah.
I think I pretty like if it's like a severe cold, I'll probably get it every 2 or 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm about the same.
hmm
Yeah. Yeah. But
Anyways,
June,
yeah.
today we're recording. It's Liberation Day.
hmm
We don't want to talk about that today, but maybe you could just give a brief intro.
Oh, I didn't think I would do this.
Well,
So August 15th is Liberation Day for Korea.
yeah.
We call it 광복절.
Okay.
It literally means like uh retrieving back the light.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's like pretty deep, it sounds like. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the day that we've been liberated from Japan,
Yeah.
1945, August 15th.
Okay.
It's a national holiday.
Yeah.
And usually when I was growing up, it was almost like a requirement, mandatory that you put up a flag
Yeah.
in your apartment or in front of your house, right?
Mhm,
And I
mhm.
think we've talked about this in our previous episodes that Korean houses, even apartments, they usually have like a little thing that you can hoist up your Korean flag.
Yeah, they have a little flag holder outside the
Yeah.
window. Yeah.
And every household for sure had a Korean flag to do
Ah,
that.
wow.
And nowadays, I don't think, I want to say like less than 10% does. Like right now, in my view, there are like so many apartments that I can see.
Yeah.
And literally, I see only one apartment that has the flag up.
That's sad. Less than 1%, I'd say. Yeah, because we see hundreds of apartment windows.
I am no one to judge. I don't own a
Interesting.
flag either. Anyway.
June, I went for breakfast with my kids this morning,
Mm-hmm.
and we saw like a group of runners.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're all from the same gym,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe they're part of a running crew,
Mm-hmm.
but it was cute. They were all carrying like a mini taguki as they were running this morning, which I really found nice.
That is really cute.
Yeah. I had forgotten why today was a holiday,
Mm-hmm.
but after seeing the tagukis, I knew it was Liberation Day. Yeah.
I think for Koreans to celebrate, I think this is one thing that Americans are so much better than Koreans
Uh-huh.
is like celebrating something, right?
Yeah, I'd say Americans are quite good at. We're always looking for an excuse to celebrate.
Yeah, like there is a thing that you do for every holiday, I think almost.
Yeah.
Whereas in Korea, there's a holiday, but there aren't stuff that people do.
There's not like a thing that you do
Yeah.
on that day.
Yeah.
I see.
For it to be celebrated and like memorized
Yeah.
almost, I think there has to be a thing that you do and it
Mm.
becomes a tradition.
Tradition, yeah.
For instance, I think the 광복절 equivalent in the US would be 4th of July.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think as far as I understand, what you do is that they have fireworks
Yeah.
and they have like a barbecue.
Yeah.
And so like there's always a thing that
Totally.
you do.
Yeah, I look forward to July 4th every year.
I wish there's a thing that you do on Liberation Day.
But June, you told me there was a thing. You put your Korean flag out.
But that's like so it's like a nothing.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
It's not enjoyable almost.
But even that tradition, which was a thing totally, has
Mhm.
now died off, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe Koreans are too utilitarian about
Sure.
things.
Yeah.
It's like, well, why are we doing this every year? Why are we spending, let's say, tens of millions of dollars on fireworks?
I think there's a tendency in Korea that people look down on things that doesn't have utilitarian value.
Value. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, oh, like, why are you doing that? Like,
Mhm.
for what?
Yeah.
Almost. Yeah.
I can get that sense. And yeah,
Like,
anyway, I agree. It's a little sad.
On that note, it's really interesting. Whenever I introduce that I have a podcast channel and it's doing pretty well,
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
every Korean, the next sentence is how much do you make?
Wow.
Almost as if like, if you don't make money, why are
What's
you
the
doing
point
this?
of doing it? Yeah, that's crazy.
I think that's like a very strong underlying psyche
Yeah.
in Korean society.
June, when I tell my friends that, yeah, everyone's just like, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's literally, they're just happy for me, I guess. But yeah, anyway, it's very different reaction.
But today we weren't going to talk about Liberation Day nor the utilitarian psyche of Korean society.
No, June.
Yeah.
It's time. Let's talk about the Olympics.
Olympics, yes.
2024, Paris. 파리 올림픽.
파리 올림픽.
Olympic. Or as I like to call it, 운동회 for adults.
You know that Korean people pronounce it in the more correct way, right?
Versus what? Paris? Oh, versus Paris.
Yeah. Paris is like...
No,
where
June,
where does
I
that
took
even
7
come
years
from?
of French. I know it's Paris.
Yeah, Paris Olympic. It ended just last week, I think, August 11th.
Yeah, just a few days ago was closing ceremonies.
Yeah. I haven't watched the closing ceremonies, but I heard that like Tom Cruise was in the closing
I
ceremonies.
saw that headline too.
Yeah.
I think, 2028, next Summer Olympics is going to be in LA. So I think he was there to do the handoff
Yeah.
in Mission Impossible style. But yeah, I didn't watch it either.
Do you know that? So after LA, I think it's some city in Australia, either Sydney or Melbourne.
Yeah.
And then I think Seoul is running for the next Olympics.
They're petitioning for 2036.
Yeah.
Which, that would be incredible. It feels like it's too soon, right? 1988 wasn't that long ago.
1988,
when Korea hosted the Summer Games. So, wait, what that would have been? That would have been like 48
50.
years. Yeah, so
50
maybe
years.
maybe it's time. But
Yeah. Anyways.
yeah, that would be awesome if they hosted it. But yeah.
For Korea, it was a good Olympics because we didn't have a strong start to begin with because all of our like major, like we call it 구기 종목, like ball games, they all didn't qualify for the Olympics, which was kind of shocking. The normal, I think the most popular one, of course, is soccer, and then basketball, volleyball, all these.
Baseball, right? Isn't Korea huge in baseball?
Baseball wasn't a category in the Paris Olympics.
Oh, really? That is shocking.
I heard that
You're right. Yeah, I didn't hear anything about Olympic baseball.
I heard that it is because that for a certain category of sports to be qualified to be in the Olympics, I think there has to be at least like 70 countries that are actively participating. But baseball is very like, I think not a lot of countries play baseball actively. But there were Olympics that had baseball, and I'm pretty sure
right? Yeah.
in the LA Olympics, the US is gonna try very hard to. I mean, maybe it's already set. They're probably gonna have baseball.
Got
Anyways,
it. Cool.
So we didn't have a strong start to begin with, but we came out very strong. I think our expectations from the National Athletic Association, I don't know what their official name in English is, 대한체육회. They predicted 5 or 6 gold medals.
Oh, wow.
Their aim was rank 15.
Yeah.
But we ended up getting 13 golds and 8th.
Or 9th. I think 9th overall.
8th or 9th? 8th, I think.
My chart is showing 9.
Maybe it's because there's 2 different ways of counting.
Oh, you're right. No, 8th.
Yeah.
Oh, gold medals versus total medals.
Yeah.
Oh, we should get into that. But yeah, Korea represented strong. Yeah.
Yes.
13 gold medals, 32 medals overall. Good for 8th or 9th place, depending on how you want to order it.
Yeah. Did you watch the Olympics?
I watched a good amount. Yeah, almost every morning. So when I was in America, that's when opening ceremonies was. I subscribed to YouTube TV just so I could watch it.
Oh, cool.
So every morning we showed it.
Do you root for the Korean team or the US team?
I root for both, June.
Yeah.
Sometimes I just root for, I'll watch games. I enjoy watching volleyball. And even if America or Korea's not playing, I just want to root for, good play. But overall, I'd say if America and Korea were competing, I don't necessarily go one way or the other. I think my default would be Korea. But if, for example, I like the American athlete or I follow that sport or whatever, I'll root for America in that sense. So, yeah, I can't say I just root for one country. I just root for, I think, the athlete if I happen to like the athlete or know about the athlete.
Cool.
Yeah, but of course, my default actually will be Korea. Jun, I remember one time I was living with another Korean American roommate who grew up in Oklahoma. GK, if you're listening, this is you. But yeah, we were watching the Olympics together, and we were talking about, again, do you root for Korea or America if they were playing each other? And actually, it was three of us. And when me and my other friend, AK, we both started to root for Korea, he looked at us like, he thought we were traitors. He was like, you guys are, how can you call yourself American? You're rooting for Korea. It doesn't make sense, right? But I think it's a pretty common sentiment. I think most Korean Americans would root for Korea if push came to shove. And I think it's just because in America, we feel a stronger sense of identity as Koreans, maybe ethnically, than we do as Americans. Yeah, so.
Cool. So do you have any favorite games for the Olympics or?
Yeah.
Oh, that's too early.
No, let me, okay, yeah, America finished number one or tied for number one, depending on how you rank them. America got 48 golds and 126 medals overall.
It's crazy.
But June, I want there was one Instagram post I saw. It was about midway through the Olympics, and it had America at the top of the total medal count. But even within that infographic, China was beating America in terms of golds. And the entire comment thread was like just person after person being like, this is so wrong. You know, you always rank by gold medals. America's not number one. And these are Americans saying it, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, come on, guys, like this is just propaganda. Let's put China at the top.
Yeah.
But I just thought that was interesting too, because America only caring about being number one or gold medal counts. I don't know how universal that is. But for me, it's like, I think total medal count should count too. Do you have an opinion on this?
I think both of them are weird. I think each medal should have like a score, right? Because total medal count doesn't even account for. So it's like gold medal versus total medal count is like one way or the other.
Yeah.
So I think there should be weight for each medal.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that'll be the most fair way.
There's some, like the gold medal for basketball, that's only one medal.
Yeah.
But winning that medal, it's a whole team. And then, they don't award 15 medals for every participant.
Oh, that
right?
type of weight.
Yeah.
Oh, I was saying something different.
Oh, what weight?
How
would you weight medals?
Because like there's no differentiation when it comes to like gold, silver, and bronze. Like I think like one gold should account for like 5 points.
Yeah, bronze
and
is
then
like
three for silver. Yeah, and that should be fair.
Yeah,
because like total medal count is like, again, it's like one way or the other.
Yeah. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think gold should be 5.
Yeah.
Silver should be 2.
2 or 3.
And then bronze should be 1.
Yeah.
Something like that would be more fair.
Yeah.
June, that's awesome. If we were to do that, America would have crushed.
Really?
Yeah.
Because you have more medals overall.
Yeah. We just have so many participants. And I think this just goes to show, again, sports is so ubiquitous in America. Everyone just grows up playing it. And, America has the resources to support it. So more people just play. I think U.S. probably led the way with participants as well. So maybe just it's a numbers game, right? By volume, it also makes sense. We have a high number of medal counts too.
Yeah.
But how do you think about that feeling? I feel like this was a very strong American sentiment that it's gold medal or bust. We only care about winning the gold.
Yeah.
Silver, bronze, it doesn't matter. Like that's great, but it doesn't really make us feel super proud.
Yeah.
It's almost like if we get second place, it's a failure.
Yeah,
does that resonate with you as well as a Korean?
Yeah, it was very like that when I was growing up. Like even like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
that like everyone just cared about the gold medal, and like people almost treated getting a silver or bronze as a failure.
Yeah.
And then there was a lot of public backlash towards that kind of sentiment. And now Korean people tend to think that, oh, like you did well, like with or even without medal.
Yeah.
Like if you played good game, then people are. But like to be fair, the overall like public, I guess popularity of watching the Olympics has drastically gone down. I feel. Yeah. It's like no one talks about the Olympics that much.
I see.
Whereas like even in like the mid 2000s, what was the 2000?
2008, I know where it was Beijing.
Beijing, yeah. Or like in that era, like everyone was so crazy about watching the Olympics, and like everyone talked about it, and like it was like for sure if you met someone on like game night,
Yeah.
or like the day after, for sure everyone watched it.
Yeah.
But like I feel like now it's just like a preference.
I see.
Yeah.
I was in America for the first half of the Olympics. It's hard to say. Yeah, it's hard to say, but I got the feeling though that people were just as excited. Again, we can look at coverage numbers, etc. But at least my sentiment was people still cared a lot about them. At least the sports that America was, supposed to do well in. So I think in America, the four most popular sports would have to be, I think, this is for summer only, track and field, swimming,
Yes.
gymnastics, and basketball in no particular order. Yeah,
Oh,
I think those are the, you called them the Korean national sports. Did you say that?
What are?
I guess the ones that Korea tends to do well in and really tries to win gold in. But those four, at least for America, are the most popular ones that I think most Americans track the closest.
I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it goes hand in hand with how people are patriotic, right? Because we talked about in our previous episode that I feel like Americans are very patriotic, and I think it's like the pinnacle of patriotism. Patriotism.
I think that's it.
Yeah. Anyways,
I don't know either. Yeah.
That you watch the Olympics because you're rooting for your country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, since we mentioned Beijing in 2008, do you remember watching the '08 Olympics?
Yes. I was going to talk about the Beijing Olympics in terms of the opening ceremony.
I think that's a perfect segue. That's exactly what I wanted to do here.
Because it was one of my favorites.
Oh my God.
It was crazy.
It was nuts.
Because I think China had a very clear propaganda
Yeah.
that they wanted to convey.
Yeah.
That like we're one of the superpowers of the world. Like we're presenting ourselves globally.
Yeah.
For almost like officially for the first time.
Yeah.
And I remember like in that era of like 2008, 2007 or 9ish, there was also the Shanghai Expo.
Oh, okay.
And they did it like crazily. And I remember this because the expo was like a pretty big deal in architecture field, because you see like how all like the like what do you call them, like the anyways each country represents a specific building, so it's almost like the Olympics for architecture.
Is that true?
It is.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
But it was like next level. Shanghai.
Shanghai.
The way that they did it. But anyways, the opening ceremony was crazy because it was like it involved so many people.
Nuts, yeah, and it went perfectly.
Yeah.
It was so amazing. I'll never forget where I was and watching the '08 Beijing Olympics opening ceremony. Because in America, I don't know, no one knew what to expect. There weren't. I don't think, at least in my friend group, we were thinking, oh, China's going to put on a show because, like you said, they had an agenda. This was their purpose. So we didn't go in with much expectations. It was just like every other Olympic, opening ceremony. But then when we started watching it, it was must-see TV for like an hour straight. It was insane.
Yes.
So, June, in contrast to the Paris Games, how much of the Paris Olympic ceremony did you watch?
To begin with, I didn't watch it live.
Okay.
I don't even know what time it was on. I think it was still a watchable time for Korea.
Yeah.
But I did not watch it. I watched it through YouTube, I think.
Okay. But it was like 3 hours. How much of that 3 hours did you watch?
It was 3 hours. I didn't know that.
Oh, maybe it wasn't live. I know the opening ceremony coverage, I believe, in America was about 3 hours.
I see.
Yeah, it started at 10 a.m., I think, Pacific time.
If anything, I saw like the summarized version.
Okay.
It was very... I thought it was cool that I think it was, at least as far as I know, it was the first time that I saw an opening ceremony that was not held in the main stadium. They did it like all over the city.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty clever and unique and kind of cool. Because like the city of Paris is almost like a very uniquely, fascinating place, right? So I think highlighting the city itself was kind of cool.
It must have the most recognizable landmarks in the world, right? It must.
It must, yes.
I don't know. Paris, like, that was the one thing that stood out. as they were going through, I've never been to Paris, but as they were going through like all the landmarks,
Yeah.
it's like, oh my God, yeah, Paris has so many. Whether it's the Eiffel Tower,
Yeah.
the Louvre, Notre Dame, Notre Dame, like all these other things too.
Yeah.
It was definitely very iconic. Yeah.
And I think they tried to depict like the historical aspects of like what happened in Paris and France and all that.
Like the revolution and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And after watching the show and watching like some of the reviews, I understood what it was. But while I was watching it, I didn't understand a lot of things. Maybe it was because of my historical negligence, but I think they were trying to use Assassin's Creed as like a vehicle to show all of these scenes.
My kids just called him the hooded man, but
yes, I think most people thought so, which was, I think, a big mistake.
Is Assassin's Creed that famous?
See, yeah, I think that
I don't know. Yeah,
they didn't make a good choice on doing that. I know that there was a scene where they were trying to depict like Marie Antoinette.
Oh,
then,
yeah. Getting her head chopped off, yeah.
And that was kind of too eerie.
Yeah, it was a little too much.
Yeah. And then there was a scene where they were trying to replicate, I think, the Last Supper.
Yeah.
But with like in a very PC way, which I think didn't go down well for at least the Korean audience.
Yeah. I would say there was a lot of backlash in Western media too, to that Last Supper scene in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the one scene that I really liked in the Paris Olympics opening ceremony was when Celine Dion
Oh, yeah.
And because I watched the documentary of her, she's suffering this very rare disease called the stiff person syndrome or whatever. It's just like she gets like random spasms in the middle of the day, like in just like very random occasions, to a point where it's very hard for her to perform. And so for her to, I don't think that she's cured, but she's just like treating it.
Yeah.
But for her to like do that ceremony in a very I think it was a very emotional way.
Yeah.
And we could see that she was very emotional too, and she did it very perfectly.
Yeah.
That was very impressive. That was one of my favorite moments of the ceremony, at least.
Yeah. You might have watched more than me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I saw the first like 30 minutes or so, and then maybe the last 30 minutes. But yeah, I did see the Celine part as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very powerful, very moving. I didn't know as much about her backstory. I just knew she was struggling with singing. But then to see her be able to perform for, in Paris, etc., was pretty powerful. She's French Canadian though, right?
Yeah, from Quebec.
Yeah. So I think it's interesting that, she is French, but I don't know if she's ever lived in France. But for her to, I guess, represent France. Anyway, I thought that was interesting to me.
I thought so.
Because she's like a French expat, right? I don't know if she was born in
she's
Canada.
Definitely not French. She's
exactly.
Canadian.
Yeah.
But I think Celine Dion made more sense than Lady Gaga. Because she also performed too.
Yeah.
And I didn't get the connection there.
I think they all speak French.
Lady Gaga's from Quebec too?
No, but I just know she's American, but I'm pretty sure she speaks French.
Yeah, there was a scene in the movie The Star is Born where she sings in French.
Maybe not.
So yeah, I thought it was very odd.
Yeah.
It's like, imagine that Korea held an Olympic.
Yeah.
And like some random, let's say, Japanese singer.
Yeah.
That I can't even imagine the backlash that would come from that. Anyways, I think the most recognizable moment for Koreans, at least, was when the Korean athletes came out.
Yeah.
And the IOC, they officially mistitled Korea as North Korea.
Yeah. Well, officially they call them the DPRK, right?
Yeah.
Democratic People's Republic of Korea.
Which I think for normal people, I understand why it's confusing.
Yeah.
Because there's like
Democratic, yeah, it sounds like South Korea.
But for like such an official event,
yeah,
it was kind of...
No, that's inexcusable. And I think they formally apologized for that, right?
Yes. But then I think Korean people kind of forgave them.
Yeah.
After seeing that they hoisted the Olympics flag upside down. So it's like, oh, it's not on purpose. It's like everything's kind of messed up.
Everything's just messed up, yeah.
Anyways.
Let's see. I think I also saw another time. I know the opening ceremony one made a lot of headlines, but at some other later thing. There was some infographic about the Olympics where they had the wrong flag next to the Republic of Korea. They had the North Korean flag next to that too. So,
Oh wow.
anyway, again, to be honest, as an American, I understand it is confusing.
Yeah.
DPRK, ROK, the flags, whatever.
Yeah.
But I'd agree with you too. For such an important event, kind of inexcusable. But yeah,
They also, I think, for some Argentinian athlete, they put like the Chinese flag or whatever.
Clearly, they just were not on top of everything. Yeah.
So, should we get into like the highlights?
Yeah, let's get into it. So, well, okay. There were two major headlines that I think we wanted to cover. The first was I don't know her name, air pistol meme girl, I'll call her.
Kim Ye-ji.
Probably the coolest like visual scene of the entire Olympics.
She was huge on social media.
She was huge. She just looked so cool.
Yeah.
Right? And she won silver, I believe, right? But yeah, what was, I guess, the reaction or reception in Korea to this, what became I think the first like global meme from the Paris Olympics was her.
Yeah. I don't have a lot to say about her. She wasn't very famous to begin with, as far as I know.
Yeah.
And she was just famous because her image became such a meme.
Became famous, yeah.
And I've never seen like those gadgets, right? Is this like a new thing?
I've never watched Air Pistol before.
And there's even something more interesting is that there was like this contrast between people who have those gadgets versus this guy from Turkey who had nothing awesome. And he got like the gold or whatever. Yeah. He had like the badass kind of vibe.
Yeah, he literally had the like, I just rolled out of bed this morning. I'm like gonna shoot this thing and win a gold, or did he win gold or silver? I think he might have won silver. But I don't know. I'm gonna medal in this event.
But I think this just shows how I guess the current world or the modern world have changed. Because like she didn't even win the gold medal, right? And to be clear, like winning silver is pretty awesome too. But her being like almost like the face of the Paris Olympics,
she definitely won the Olympics.
Looks super cool.
Yeah.
Is like, and through social media and all that, I think it's like it's very symbolic for what the modern society is right now. Yeah.
We care more about meme culture than actually the medal performance.
Exactly.
But yeah, so what was her name again?
Kim Ye-ji.
Kim Ye-ji. Okay. Is her fame continuing on in Korea, or do you think it's already gone?
I think it's pretty much gone.
Okay.
This again shows how the popularity of Olympics have sort of dwindled over the years because as far as I remember, after the Olympics, like these athletes, they come on to like talk shows and like variety shows and everything.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
Like people highlight them. And of course, this goes hand in hand with people not watching TV that much these days.
Yeah.
But I don't see a lot of fame after coming.
Interesting.
Yeah. Coming back from the Olympics.
Because I would have expected her to be, getting endorsement deals, like you said, doing the talk show circuit, getting on all these famous things.
She probably will be, but not as crazy as before.
Yeah. Like she had a little like stuffy that she used to dry her hands. Apparently, that was given to her by her coach.
Oh, really?
Like that was part of her look. I mean, she's like this badass like gun shooting pose with a little like elephant stuffy.
Oh, really?
I thought that would have sold out, right? Or like maybe see people walking around with like the eye thing. But anyway, so you're saying her fame seems to already have, kind of gotten down.
That's what I feel.
Got it. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. How about the second, I think, big news headline I remember? The badminton gold medalist, immediately after winning her gold, started to criticize the Korea's Badminton Federation or whatever it's called.
Or like the Korean Athletes Association, I think.
Oh, was it not specifically for badminton?
I think it was for the overall like Athletes Association.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Taking shots. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe you could quickly summarize that and see if there's anything worth discussing or highlighting here.
Yeah, after she won the women's single badminton gold medal, she had like immediately what you do is you do the interview with the press, right? And to everyone's surprise, she started criticizing the 대한체육회, the National Athletes Associations, and she said she talked something about her injury, and her injury was more serious than people thought, and it was incurable. And she said the association took it too lightly, and she was very disappointed or something like that.
Yeah.
And then it started like this huge spark, and I think it's still going on. and there's a lot of controversies around like who was right or wrong. So we still don't know yet. It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
But basically, I think the general perception of these athletes associations is most of the time it comes with corruption for some reason.
Yeah.
Because it's a very like, I think a lot of the times when there's very strict hierarchy and like 선배 후배 kind of thing,
Yeah.
and like discussions can't flow
Yeah,
naturally.
you can't challenge authority.
Yeah, it's always, it comes with corruption. Same with the military, right? It's always so corrupted. And so I think we still don't know who is right or wrong, but like the general understanding of the public is, of course, there's a corruption.
Yeah,
right?
the government agency is in the wrong here.
Yeah.
I see. I mean, she had an agenda, right? In the interview after winning the gold, this is the first thing she brings up. So in a sense, I'm rooting for her. Like, it probably took some guts to use that platform to send us a message. But if there really is something that needs to be done to better, either support or protect athletes, I'm all for it, I think. Yeah. I wanted to bring up something that you said. You said Koreans think most government agencies have a lot of corruption.
Yes.
I see. Yeah, we weren't doing regular news reviews at the time. But do you remember the Boy Scouts Global Jamboree?
Yeah.
And just what a absolute failure and cluster that was in Korea. That's what that triggered for me, because this is like such a monumental failure on behalf of a government agency to plan and whatever. And all this news came out around like how that the chair of that association was like misappropriating funds and like doing it just for her and her team and whatnot. So yeah.
I mean, I want to say that still Korean society is getting better and better as the time goes, but still there are a lot of weaknesses when it comes to authority and corruption. Like still, even in the workplace, right? I feel like people can't really challenge people on the high authority.
Yeah.
And I think, again, if there's not natural or free discussion culture, it's just natural that there's going to be corruption.
Yeah. If you can't challenge authority, right? There's a common American saying, English saying, absolute power corrupts absolutely. I don't know if Korea has an equivalent saying, but I think most people assume if you have unbridled power, then you'll become corrupt. Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else with that? I guess one question I had with this badminton gold medalist is, do you think this is going to trigger like a wave, like the next Korean generation of rising badminton stars? Is this going to become very popular in Korea because of her?
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't think so?
Yeah, 'cause there was a badminton star before her too.
Yeah.
This called Kai Iyongdae. I think he was famous in either London or Athens.
Yeah.
But he won the gold medal. He was very famous for also very good looking.
Oh.
But I don't think it did something for the badminton
Interesting. Yeah.
thing. Maybe it did a little bit, but not. So like I remember when like Park Se-ri, the famous golfer,
Yeah.
she was like so popular that she breeded like this entire generation.
Exactly,
of, like,
that's what I was trying to get
Park
at.
Se-ri kids.
Yeah.
Where everyone like started doing golf and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't think badminton is like.
Gonna become that thing?
I don't think so.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think? Why do you think sometimes when someone wins a gold or becomes the best in the world at something and is Korean, that can trigger like the entire country wanting to do that, and sometimes it doesn't?
Money.
Oh, is there money?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yeah, because you can't imagine a badminton gold medalist making a lot of money.
Sure.
But you can see that from golfers or like soccer stars or whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, well, here's maybe a counterexample. I don't know if you know her name. I think there was a very famous Korean rhythmic gymnastics athlete.
소년제?
I don't know the name, but one of my friend's daughters in Korea, she's really into rhythmic gymnastics. And she said there's a bunch of people all performing and competing at rhythmic gymnastics because of that person. But that person didn't even win gold. She just became like a national star in Korea. So I don't know if you had any thoughts on why or how she became famous, but it seems a little random to me because rhythmic gymnastics, there's also no money in that either, but it seems to have bred an entire generation of people, especially young girls in Korea who want to become, rhythmic gymnastics gymnasts.
I mean, definitely, even for badminton, there must be some people like a group of people who watch her and gets into badminton and whatnot. It doesn't like what I'm saying. It wouldn't become a national phenomena as it did with Park
Golf.
Se-ri or like Son Heung-min.
What about Kim Yuna with? I know this is winter sports, but
Kim Yuna definitely did something
Okay.
because she was like legendary
yeah,
almost.
yeah. Okay.
Mm.
All right.
And we will get into legendary Olympic stars.
Should we do it now?
Oh, you want to do it now? But before that, I also want to talk about archery.
Yeah, our archery. Korea's continued dominance in archery. Yeah.
It was almost nuts that how good they are.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy because they always win,
Yeah.
but they don't win by a far.
It's so close.
It's so close,
Yeah.
but they just always win,
Yeah.
which is crazy. It's almost as if like they just want to do it for the fun of
Oh,
it.
for the drama.
Almost. I mean, it's probably not sure, but it was always close, but they always win, which
Yeah,
makes it so entertaining.
More exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially for the women's group.
Yeah.
Do you know for how long that they won the gold medal and never even got silver?
My understanding was since it became a sport, which I don't know when it was, but they've literally won every gold medal possible in that event, is my understanding.
Yeah, they say it's 10 Olympics in a row,
Uh-huh.
which is 40 years.
That's crazy.
Like for
Yeah.
40 years, they won the gold medal.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And
Whenever I'm watching,
Yeah.
and like you said, it's close.
Yeah.
I think that one, was it against China?
I mean, a lot of it.
But anyway, it was the
Yeah.
finals, and it came down to like the shoot off. So it's like, extra time, overtime. And I'm always nervous for them because I would feel so bad if they lose. Eventually, they're going to lose, right? You can't just win
Yeah.
every single time
Yeah.
forever. And for them to break that streak of 10 straight Olympics,
Yes.
I just feel nervous for them.
Like, imagine the pressure that they have.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they look at least they present themselves as if very confident.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what I also like about archery is that they show the heartbeat rate.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
which is super cool.
Yeah.
And their heartbeat rate is almost the equivalent of when a normal person sleeps.
Yeah. So their elevated heart rate is
Yeah.
what a normal person is.
Yeah.
Jun, did you play archery or practice archery growing up?
Not at all.
Really?
No.
They don't have every kid in the country just like try?
You would imagine, right?
Yes,
but
I
I've
would
never
imagine.
I've never even held a bow and an arrow.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't mean to laugh, but I remember one of my in college there was a UXing friend of mine, and whatever. I remember laughing so hard. This is so wrong. But he told me growing up he practiced speed skating, like rollerblade inline skating, and he said at least for him, he said every kid in Korea tries it, right? Because this is again the archery equivalent in the Winter Olympics for Korea would be speed skating, right? Where they just expect dominance, they think they're the best in the world, and they usually win gold. But anyway, I thought that was funny, and it would translate to other sports that Korea does well at. That every kid would try to see if they can become the next, Korean gold medalist in that. But you're saying for archery, at least, this is not true.
As far as I experienced,
Did you ever do ice skating or inline skating?
I did. I did speed skating. Yes.
See?
Yeah.
It's true at least for that.
Yeah.
I feel like every Korean practices or at least sees, do I have some natural talent in speed skating?
Yes.
Okay.
But I think I also want to talk about this in terms of archery is that I feel like Koreans are very good at sports that require a lot of precision.
Yes. Yeah, I'd agree with that.
As opposed to like maybe like strength or stamina. I think that's why they're also good at fencing at least. Like a lot of precision and speed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. Yeah, maybe pure reflexes and things like that. And even esports is a bit similar.
Yeah, because we use the metal
Chopsticks.
chopsticks. I don't know why. Korean people have something for precision.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I was also going to generalize to just anything where probably the number one factor in success is just pure practice and diligence.
Yeah.
And extreme like focus and preparation. Yeah, I think Koreans are very, very good at those.
I was also very excited for breakdancing.
Yeah.
But after watching it, I realized that I don't really like these kind of sports where it's just about, it's not for someone to score.
It's very subjective, you're saying?
Same with figure skating.
Yeah.
I think the Olympics might have sort of messed up figure skating altogether because they have to have a way to score them. And eventually then it becomes a formula. Like you have to do this thing. And then,
now
like,
it's too technical, right?
Yeah. I felt like the whole spirit of b-boying, like, contained in this format of like you have to do this once and do that twice or whatever. I think it really went against the spirit. But I mean, it was fun to see breakdancing for the first time in the Olympics. But after watching it, I thought, like, this doesn't really feel like
breakdancing.
Yeah.
I actually did not watch any breakdancing Olympic stuff, except for the meme of the Australian women's breakdancer.
I saw that. What is about that? I saw the meme, but I don't know what.
That's all I know too.
Okay.
Yeah. But anyway, breakdancing formally will not be in the next Olympics. It's already been announced.
Okay.
I believe. But okay, June, good segue into my next segment though. There were at least, I'm sure there are many more, but there were at least 2 ethnic Koreans who won gold medals for other countries that I wanted to highlight. Breakdancing, so Phil Wizard, he's a Canadian-born Korean, so second gen, Korean-Canadian. He won gold in breakdancing. And then Lydia Ko, she was a Korean-born, but emigrated to New Zealand when she was 4. But she won gold in women's golf for New Zealand. Do these people make like national headlines in Korea? And how do Koreans generally, I guess, react to ethnic Koreans who leave Korea and do really, really well?
I think that was the case at least for the 90s, maybe early 2000s. Now, I don't think Korean people care that much about Korean Americans in the global realm because I think there's so many now.
Interesting. Yeah.
Back then, it was so rare that you see, like, even if it's not a Korean national, like, see any, like, ethnically Korean person being highlighted in a global stage. I think Korean people would be super excited about that.
Yeah.
What's a good example of that?
The one example I was going to bring up, maybe it was like 10 years ago, but Hines Ward, he was a Super Bowl winning NFL wide receiver. He's half black, half Korean. And I remember reading when he came to Korea, he got a really warm reception. And that was more in line with my understanding at that time. Korea really embraces you if you're ethnically Korean, no matter where you live, so long as you're successful, famous, etc. But what you just said does match what I've noticed as well. So like, this breakdancer, Phil Wizard, Phil Kim, golf Lydia Ko, and then even athletes like Chloe Kim, right? She's just an amazing snowboarding talent, right? She dominated snowboarding last Winter Olympics, but I got the sense she wasn't that popular in Korea, even though she was, Korean American. So
I'm pretty sure people know that person if they're into that game. But not in like a national level. Like even you mentioned Lydia Ko, was it?
Yeah.
I think even before her, there was Michelle Wee.
Yeah. Hawaiian and Korean, yeah.
And even then, I think Korea's was more interested in people like that. Like Michelle Wee was pretty popular.
Yeah.
But
now it seems to have died off.
I think so.
Okay, interesting contrast, June, then to Korean athletes who were maybe successful in Korea, but then moved overseas.
Yeah.
I'm mostly thinking of all the Major League Baseball players. Son Heung-min too, of course. It's just interesting to me, the contrast there, right? Like Koreans will almost adopt any Korean athlete who goes abroad and achieves success as their own. But it seems less so. They're less willing now to care about foreign-born Koreans who are doing really, really well. Anyway, just any thoughts about that contrast?
So the contrast that you're making is ethnical Korean?
Yeah, versus Korean national.
Versus Korean national being successful outside of Korea.
Yeah.
For Korean, like ethnically Korean people might think that they're not even Korean.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I mean, they might feel more of a connection than like a totally not even ethnically Korean person.
Yeah.
But still, they're not Korean, so they might think like, why should I care? Almost.
Very interesting, right? Because we started this episode, or an earlier thing was Korean Americans, even though they were born in America and are American, they tend to root for Korean athletes a lot, and Korea as a country still.
Yeah.
In that sense, right, you might think that Koreans would continue to really support and root for non-Korean, like, it's getting confusing, but ethnic Koreans who are representing other countries. But yeah, it just doesn't seem to be the case, which again is surprising to me. Yeah. Wonder why that is. Maybe Korea has become, on its own, a strong enough country, player on the global field that they feel like they don't need to, grasp at every like possible chance to cling to like an ethically successful Korean person.
Yes, but I also think that the importance of ethnicity
That's
is a lot more highlighted in the US than in Korea.
interesting.
Like your roots and whatnot, it's
Yeah.
not really a thing that people talk about, I think, in Korea, because everyone's just Korean.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah. I think only in the US that they would think so much about like their roots and ethnic background.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay, anyway, Jun, I think you wanted to talk about famous Korean Olympians.
Yeah. Do you have the US equivalent? Because I'm gonna start from 1936.
Oh, Berlin.
Yes.
There was a very famous. There's a very famous American Olympian from that Olympics.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought you were trying. I thought you knew
No.
who I was going to talk
Who was the
about.
very famous Korean Olympian from the Berlin Games?
So this person called Son Ki-jung,
Uh-huh.
he won the gold medal for the marathon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No way, yeah.
And the reason why he became such a phenomena is because 1936 was still when Korea was under
Japanese rule.
yeah, Japanese rule. So he entered the Olympic. He ran the marathon as a Japanese, and he said in the interview that he was so shameful about winning the gold with the Japanese flag on his uniform.
Yeah.
So there are pictures of him on the podium. And in Berlin 1936 Olympics, apparently they gave out like little like trees for like in addition to the medal to celebrate the gold medalist.
Yeah.
And he like sort of hid his Japanese flag with the tree.
Oh, with the tree.
And it became even more scandalous because 동아일보, which was one of the biggest newspaper companies in Korea back in 1936, when they published this in the newspaper, they erased the Japanese flag.
Wow. Yeah.
And the Japanese government found out, and there was like this whole scandal.
Controversy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I want to get this right because I'm not a huge history buff. But I believe, so again, in 1936, this was still Nazi Germany, I believe, right? I know it's very, very famous because I think Germany wanted to prove that, Germans are ethnically superior. And there was an American Olympian, Jesse Owens, and he, I think, just crushed every track and field event. And I think for him as a Black American to win...
Oh, he was Black.
Jesse Owens as a Black American to win in Nazi Germany in Berlin and just prove to the world, like, hey, whatever trash that Nazi Germany is putting forth about racial superiority, whatever, him just proving them all wrong, I think was a very powerful moment. And I think he's generally celebrated as one of the most important Olympians in American history.
Most inspiring.
Yeah. And it's cool that, in a sense, they both happened in 1936 at the Olympic Games. And I think what I love about this too, I had no idea you were going to bring up a Korean Olympian from that Olympics. It's like around the world, just so much going on. And like locally, right, this was such a big deal. And just, what am I trying to say here?
That people are isolated into their silos in terms of global historical views.
It's more just so mind-opening to me, right? Yeah, that you, from a Korean perspective, it was the exact same Olympic Games, right? But what Korea took away from it compared to what America took away from it, we're so different. And just not being aware of the other side as much. I think it's a cool thing for you to start to realize, the world's a big place. And at any given moment, there's so many different people bringing their own history, their own baggage, whatever, celebrating different things. But in this case, they were both celebrating, I think, something similar, which is like pride in your own race, right?
Yes.
So I think that's really cool and kind of beautiful.
Okay, the next person that I wanted to mention was Hyun Jung-hwa.
Okay.
She was the first table tennis gold medalist in 1988 Seoul Olympics.
Wow, in her home country, she won
Yes.
gold.
Yeah.
That's huge, yeah.
And of course, and still China is
Dominant.
the dominant in that field, but
Yeah.
like she beat, I think she met China in the finals, and
It's
then
amazing. Yeah. I can only imagine what that must have been like.
exactly.
June, for me, not for me, but an equivalent, I think, circumstance.
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch basketball at all?
Only a little bit.
So the gold medal
to see the dream team.
1992 Dream Team. No, this was for this year in Paris. The gold medal finals for basketball was America versus France.
France, yeah.
And then there's, player Victor Wembanyama, who I'm a huge fan of. But, it was France is the David here, right? America's the Goliath.
Mm-hmm.
And to see him do everything he can to try to win for his home country, there's no way. I mean, the game was close, to be honest. But in a sense, going in, no one would have thought they had any chance. And yeah, U.S. did win the gold medal. But I think that would have been, if, France could have won the gold medal against USA in basketball in France, would have been just an amazing story.
Yeah. I'm sad that they didn't win.
Basketball I could talk about for a long time. This year it was Steph Curry's first Olympics, and then Kevin Durant and LeBron James and a bunch of other players too. But that trio, I think, they're in the twilight of their careers. They're probably not going to play another Olympics. They might all be retired by the time the next Olympics comes around. So. I'd say this is maybe my second favorite basketball team besides the original Dream Team in 1992. I'll just say I had another really, I'll never forget watching Kobe Bryant. I think it was 2012. They were playing Spain in the finals in basketball. And I got to watch this game on the plane, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I was just going nuts. And I just remember Kobe. I'm not a big Kobe fan, to be honest. But his performance in the gold medal game of that Olympics, I think that made me give him a lot of respect because that team had all the stars too. But when it got close and America was losing or about to lose, no one else on Team America seemed to really step up except for Kobe.
I see.
And again, I get emotional whenever I think about Kobe now. I also remember the exact moment when I found out, him and his daughter passed away. And it's just... Anyway, I love sports, June. I don't know why. I love sports so much. Yeah, it's just, in a sense, pure achievement. And
You're American, that's why.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, I love it. Anyway, these are all random stories. But
So you mentioned 1992. And so the next person that I wanted to mention as a Korean Olympic star comes from the 1992 Barcelona Olympics.
Okay.
Which is Hwang Young-jo.
Yeah.
And he also won the marathon gold medal.
Oh, wow.
And it was after the 1936 Berlin Olympics that Song Gi-jung won the gold medal. So it was in 56 years.
Yeah.
And it was such a phenomena when he won the gold medal that I remember, this is so funny, back then, I don't know when it even stopped. Every broadcasting network, when they started, so there was a start and ending of a broadcasting system. Can you even imagine that?
What do you mean?
Like, it wasn't 24 hours. There was a start and an ending. They started at 5 or 6 a.m.
Yeah.
And they ended at midnight or whatever.
I never thought of that, but it makes sense.
Yeah, it did. And what's even more fascinating is at the beginning and ending, they always show the national anthem.
Oh, the Korean national anthem.
The Korean national anthem.
Yeah.
And I can still remember that moment of Hwang Young-jo winning the gold medal or entering the finish line. It was always in that video of the Korean national anthem. So it was that level of national pride.
Yeah. June, I have to ask, I bet this is similar. It still does something for you emotionally, though, when you see a Korean on the podium winning gold and then showing the taegukgi, playing the Korean national anthem. You get emotional, right?
Yes, of course. Yeah.
I didn't realize there was such a legacy of Korean marathon runners.
There's only 2 or 3, I think.
Even still, that's I never would have thought or known that.
Random question.
Yeah.
Which do you like more, the Korean national anthem or the American national anthem.
I mean, definitely the American one. I could
Really?
not even I would not even recognize the Korean national anthem.
You wouldn't recognize the Korean national anthem?
I'm not a Korean Jun.
That's
No.
kind of surprising, though. I would. I would.
I also am surprised by
Yeah.
it. I would not recognize it if I heard it.
Oh, interesting.
But I thought you were going to ask another one too.
What is it?
Which do you like more, the Korean flag or the American flag?
Of course, the American
No,
flag.
what?
I already told you that I hate
love
the
the
Korean,
Korean flag.
Oh, this is the
I
opposite.
love the Korean flag.
So, okay, don't get me wrong. I love my country. Just like as graphics design,
Yeah.
I don't think it's a good design. I personally,
Okay, let's get into it here.
I don't think the American flag is that
good either. Yeah.
either. What's your favorite flag?
The Maryland state flag.
Okay,
It's
that was
amazing.
That was utterly ugly.
It's the best. It's the best flag in all of America for any state.
Okay, but let's go into a country level.
I don't. June, I've never been asked if I have a favorite country flag. I mean, clearly, okay, what's your favorite country flag?
I haven't thought about it. Let me think.
Well, no pressure. What are some that you like?
I like the UK flag, the Union Jack.
Okay.
I like the Japanese flag because it's like so simple.
June, you can't say that as a Korean.
When I just talked about how Song Gi-jung was trying so hard to...
Especially, June, if you combine the Japanese flag with the Union Jack flag, you basically have the rising empire Japanese flag.
No.
Oh, you do. Come on, if you just combine those two, June.
I'm just speaking
You're gonna get us
purely in
canceled.
terms of graphics.
On Liberation Day too, how can you say
Oh my
that
God,
the
okay.
Korean taegukgi
I
is
feel so bad.
ugly? What's ugly about it?
I don't know.
Its lack of symmetry?
There's just like so many things going on there.
I love it.
I
love
like
the
it. I like it
meaning.
when it's like more like geometrically balanced.
Mm.
I mean, which it is kind of, but like the colors also, I don't know. Just my preference.
Okay. Yeah, I think the Korean flag is awesome. I think that just goes hand in hand with me feeling a lot of, I guess, pride in being Korean.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, I do feel when I see the American flag, going up and the American national anthem playing, I get emotional because I love America. But the flag, yeah, I mean, it doesn't do anything special for me. Yeah.
Okay, moving on. So this one's in the Winter Olympics,
Oh, okay.
and this is a interesting topic that we can talk about in our podcast.
Mm-hmm.
This guy called Kim Dong-sung, and
Yeah.
of course he's a speed skating,
Mm-hmm.
or like short track skating
Yeah.
athlete.
Yeah.
He won gold in the 1998 Nagano Winter Olympics.
Okay.
But then the real heat came during the 2002 Salt Lake City Winter Olympics,
Uh-huh.
when there was this very controversial ruling during the games where an American player, I think his name is Anton Ono,
Oh, Apollo Anton Ono.
yeah, where he did like this action.
Yeah.
And this is the first time Korean people learned about the word Hollywood action,
Oh.
where like he did like this very exaggerated action.
Yeah. Like
as
a dive.
as if like he was trying to bump into him or whatever,
Mhm.
and then he just got misqualified, right?
Yeah.
And so for Korean people to see that, especially in the short track, which
Yeah.
everyone was rooting for,
Mhm.
especially for this guy who's like almost like a national star,
Yeah.
it like sort of started something in
Oh,
Korea.
yeah. Yeah.
And then coincidentally, that's when like this very infamous incident, like with this Korean military vehicle
Uh-huh.
hitting like these little girls
Oh, really? In Korea?
in Korea.
Wow.
And it like this and that combined together, it like created this like anti-America thing in Korea,
Yeah.
which was like kind of crazy
Yeah.
at the time. But yeah, did you hear about this incident and like the anti-American sentiment that was going on at that era?
I'll be honest, I don't know all of the history, but I for sure know Apollo Anton Ono is like equivalent to a curse word in Korea. I know he in particular is hated. I don't think anti-American sentiment, in my memory, I may be wrong, ever got to that level. Like, I
Mhm.
don't think it reached Western media that there was rising anti-American sentiment. But yeah, definitely the hate for Apollo Antonono reached us.
And I still remember because 2002 was also when the World Cup was held in Korea.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
And there
yeah.
was a game between Korea and America.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, you can imagine how
How much?
heated it was.
And I bet the Americans were like, wait, what's going on? Like, we didn't do anything.
I think we were tied.
Yeah.
I don't think we won. I'm
Okay.
not sure.
Yeah.
But after the Korean team made a goal, they did this goal ceremony where they replicated the short tracking incident.
Oh.
Now that I think about it, it's pretty
Dude,
low.
bitter.
Yeah.
That is so bitter. Yeah.
But those were the times when
Yeah.
like the anti-American sentiment was like at its peak.
I think, again, we've talked about this before, but one layer on top of that, June, it's just how the Korean lost, seemingly getting cheated, like it wasn't a fair race.
Yeah.
I think that's what really did it for Koreans.
Yes.
Because as we've said so many times, Koreans hold fairness to the utmost standards.
Yes.
Like, if nothing else, it has to be fair.
Yeah.
Right? Let them compete. Don't do it on a disqualification. Don't do it on a Hollywood acting, whatever.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that makes more sense now, especially also knowing, right? Koreans are so proud of their short track performance over time, and
Yeah.
just upholding that sport and those athletes so much. So I understand it, to be fair, but yeah, that never reached me as far as I'm aware.
So Apollo Anton Ono, he wasn't that famous even, you're saying?
No, he was famous, right? He's very good looking, I believe. And any American athlete that is the best in their field, I think they're gonna be celebrated. And he was at least the best American, right, at short tracks. And so,
And he's also, I think, Japanese American, right?
I mean,
Which
that had to
I
have
think
played
was like
into
a perfect formula for Koreans.
that had to have played into the Korean backlash to
Yeah.
him, I guess. Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, it's hard to say whether he was famous because I am Korean American and like I saw that side of it. But yeah, definitely he was well known, and that name, of course, I recognize Koreans still have a deep bitterness and hatred for him.
The next athlete that I wanted to talk about was Park Tae-hwan,
Ah, yes.
which is he has like this nickname called the Marine Boy.
Oh, Marine Boy. Okay.
He was the gold medalist for the 400 meter and 200 meter, a silver for 200 meter swimming
Yeah.
in the 2008 Beijing Olympics.
Beijing again.
And-
We met. You talked about him when we did the podcast episode about My Lovely Runner.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
he had an appearance there.
Yes. Yeah.
And so at the time of like mid 2000s, there was like Park Tae-hwan and Kim Yeona. It was like who I'm gonna talk about right after this.
Yeah.
But like they were like the rising stars, Olympic
Yeah.
stars. Park Tae-hwan being like this very famous swimmer, and then Kim Yeona, of course, figure skater. But yeah, it's very rare for Koreans to win a medal in swimming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Michael Phelps wins them all.
Yeah, I did some research for the Olympics,
Yeah.
and I learned that Michael Phelps himself won 23 gold
Yeah,
medals,
yeah.
Olympic gold medals,
If Michael
and it
Phelps
wasn't
were a
even
country-
close with the second in rank.
And June, this is getting back to something we talked about earlier. Just medal counts and gold medal counts. It doesn't mean. I feel like it can be a little cheating a bit because there's so many swim events, so many track and field events, right? That if Michael Phelps alone can win 23 golds.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not like, again, 15 players playing for so many games wins one medal in basketball, right? But yeah, I mean, obviously the '08 games is known for Michael Phelps in the U.S., the most decorated American Olympian of all time by medal count and by gold medal count. So
yes,
yeah, he's, Michael Phelps and also Katie Ledecky, who was like the female best swimmer of all time, I'd say. They're both from my home state of Maryland.
Michael Phelps is from Maryland.
Yeah, so I have a lot
cool.
of pride over both of them.
Cool.
Yeah. I have a very fun anecdote. Michael Phelps was doing like a meet and greet in nearby where my previous workplace was in 2008. And when I found out about this, I like ran around the office being like, hey, who wants to go get an autograph of Michael Phelps with me? And no one seemed to care. They're like, who's Michael Phelps? I'm like, oh my God, how do you not know?
Oh, it's because
He didn't win yet.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly. But I knew because he's from Maryland. And so I go by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the only grown up in line. Everyone else is like a 10-year-old swimmer, right? Their parents with their young kids who are into swimming or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I get an autograph, I get a picture with him. And sure enough, a month or two later, he just goes bananas. And and everyone is like so jealous of me now.
Yeah.
But I was like, I told you, you should have come with me to get a picture with him. But
Do you still have the picture?
of course I have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a similar incident
Oh, with Park Tae-han?
with Kim Yeona.
Oh, no, you have a picture with Kim Yeona?
I have her autograph.
Oh, but no picture.
No picture.
Ah, sad.
Yeah, I'll get to that later.
But anyway, yeah, Michael Phelps and Katie Ledecky from Maryland, the goats in swimming. They make me very proud.
Michael Phelps I think it's so interesting because he looks like he's born for swimming.
Yeah, yeah.
Because his body figure is, to be honest, it's kind of odd.
It's
right?
it's abnormal.
Because he has very short legs
and very long upper body.
Yeah. Which I heard that is
it's an advantage in swimming.
Yeah. It's crazy.
No, I remember watching a documentary about this too. Yeah, his body is literally like perfect for swimming.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have to wonder how much of that is, if you start swimming at such a young age, does your body maybe acclimate to that too a little bit? But anyway,
But that's not how all swimming athletes look like.
You're right.
Yeah. They wish.
The other example of this is like, Michael Jordan, right? My greatest of all time basketball player. He's known to have freakishly large hands, which enables him to just palm the ball and do things that he shouldn't be able to do at his size. So apparently, we just talked about Victor Wembanyama, 7'4". I don't even know what the meter equivalent is. They're stupid tall. But Michael Jordan at 6'6", he's a full, what is that, 10 inches shorter. His hands are basically the same size.
Oh, crazy.
So it's just those genetic things where like your body is so perfect for that sport. And again, some of the best athletes in their respective sports have these genetic advantages, let's say. Yeah. Anyway.
Okay. Moving on is, of course, Kim Yeona. And I want to say that she is the biggest Olympic star of all time.
In Korea. At least my understanding is I would agree with that. Yeah.
She won the gold in figure skating in 2010 Vancouver Olympics. And even before that, she was already super famous.
Yeah.
Even before she won the gold medal. And so there was so much pressure upon her to win the gold medal. And for you to think about having that level of pressure that you have to win, and because you are already this national hero.
Yeah.
And like, again, Japan's involved in this rivalry of like Asada Mao, I believe is her
is that
name.
her main competitor at the time?
Yeah. And her to like compete with her and finally win the gold medal was like so dramatic.
Yeah.
And so she, of course, she came to her like peak of fame after she won the gold medal, but even before that, she was very famous.
In
like
Korea.
she was in like TV commercials and all that. And so this was, I think, 2006 or 7-ish. I was at this cafe in Gangnam with my friends.
Yeah.
And I see someone walking in, and she has like her hat very worn low, and she had like sunglasses or whatever. So I had completely no clue that she was Kim Yeona.
Yeah.
But I kept looking at her because her body figure is like, it's just like completely different.
She stood out.
out. It's like, wow, like this is a weird compliment from Koreans that you might hear often from Koreans, is that her head is really small.
I've heard that before, yeah.
It's like complimenting the proportion.
So she's also tall and like super skinny is what you're saying?
I don't think she was that tall, but her body proportion was like, it just stood out. I was like looking at her constantly.
Yeah.
And then she suddenly goes to her seat and then takes her hat off, and it was Kim Yeona.
Oh my God.
And I was like to my friends, like, oh, I see Kim Yeona there. I see Kim Yeona there. So as we were walking out, I went to her table.
Oh, that's bold, Jun.
Yeah, I said like...
Very un-Korean of you.
I said like, 안녕하세요. And so she wasn't that famous at the time, but she was still famous enough. I think it was 2006 or 7.
Oh, before her Olympic gold.
Before her Olympics gold. But she was still famous.
True fan, yeah.
It could have been 2008 too. Anyways. Yeah. But like, she was famous to the point where everyone knew who she was,
Okay.
but not to this point of like being like this national hero.
Yeah.
So I went up to her and I was like, 사인 한 장만 받아도 can I get your autograph,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So
yeah. Fanboy.
I didn't have paper,
Mhm.
so I had like I used the napkin of the cafe,
Yeah.
and then she was clearly not
Happy. Yeah.
because she didn't want she just wanted to have like this normal conversation
yeah.
with
You
her
ruined her
friends, and
coffee,
like
Jun.
she didn't want people to start recognizing
Mhm,
her,
mhm.
and she was like she didn't hide it.
Yeah.
And then after getting the autograph, I said like 손 한 번만 잡아도 돼요? I
Can
said,
I shake your hand?
Yeah.
Wow. So bold.
And then you know what she did?
Yeah.
She didn't even look at me. She was like, she did like this. She's like, shake my hand and then go away.
Oh man.
So I still have the autograph.
And you've never washed your hands since.
Yeah, this hand. But yeah,
Oh.
she's again. I think she's one of the goats.
Yeah,
of,
she's
like,
the goat.
all Olympic stars.
I think so.
She's
yeah.
still very popular,
Mhm.
and I think one thing that still makes her so popular is she almost looks like a celebrity.
Yeah.
Like she has a very pretty face,
Mhm.
and that's why she can be in all these TV commercials still.
Yeah.
After retiring after 2010,
Mm.
or like did she also compete for 2014?
Is that the one she won silver in one, which I think was a bit heartbreaking watching.
Maybe she also went on the next Olympics too.
Mhm.
But anyways, it's been 10 years since she retired at
Yeah.
least, and still she's like very popular amongst Koreans.
Yeah. You mentioned something interesting. I think I wanted to bring this up before too, when we were talking about the rhythmic gymnastics person.
Mhm.
But I think you just have to also be very good looking.
Yes. Yeah.
To like achieve that level of fame, that next level of fame in Korea, and to have it skyrocket.
Mhm.
Yeah. But of course, in America, being good looking helps,
Mhm.
but I don't think it carries nearly as much weight.
Really?
Yeah. If you're just whatever, but you are so good at whatever it is you do,
Mhm.
that alone I think can carry you pretty far. And in fact, if
Mm.
you don't necessarily look conventionally handsome or beautiful,
Mhm.
I think it can almost work in your favor. It's like a quirk.
Really?
It's like, oh, they don't care what they look like. They're so good at what they do.
I mean, if you're really good, right?
Yeah,
I think it's just a balance. If you're really good, then
Yeah.
your looks wouldn't really matter that
as much. Yeah.
But if you really look good
Yeah.
and your performance is not that well,
Yeah.
I think you can still go
Exactly.
by.
It's almost more important in Korea how you look.
But if you do it both well,
Oh, it's game
which
over.
is the case of Kim Yeona or maybe Son Heung-min,
Mm.
yeah, like
Oh, interesting. Anyway, yeah.
why?
With Sung Hoon Min, is he known to be conventionally good looking in Korea?
I think not to the level of Kim Yeona,
Yeah, yeah.
but like above average, of
Interesting.
course.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I mean, all athletes just because their bodies are so, you know,
Yeah.
good.
yeah.
But I would never have imagined like he's conventionally good looking in Korea for a man.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Jun, you were checking out Kim Yuna and it paid off.
did.
You have an autograph
Yes.
and an awesome story. So that is oddly like my Michael Phelps story.
hmm
Okay, where do we want to go from here?
This is completely off topic, but I
Mhm.
also wanted to talk about something that is very uniquely Korean in terms of Olympic medals,
Okay.
which is there are two very important factors
Mhm.
of getting medals in Korea.
Uh-huh.
Number one is that there's a fund, national fund, that you can receive if you win the gold medal.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And it's a lifetime, what do you call it? Like
Pension.
yeah,
right?
it's a
Yeah.
lifetime pension that you
Mhm.
get. And I researched how much it was,
Yeah.
and it is for for a gold medal,
Yeah.
you get 100만 won, which is kind of the equivalent of $1,000
Okay.
per month
Per month for life?
for life.
Dang.
But that's the max though.
Okay, okay.
For silver it's 75 and for bronze is 52, but the max is 100, which is $1,000. But you also get a one-time payment of 6,300만 won,
Mm-hmm.
which is almost like 50K. And also, one of the more important factors for men
Yeah.
is if you get a medal in the Olympics,
Oh, yeah.
you
Exemption
get a
from.
waiver for the military service,
Yeah.
which is a huge deal.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably the most important thing.
Yeah.
June, I remember watching like it was a WBC World Baseball Championship Finals,
Yes.
and also if you win that, you get exemption. So I think when I saw Korea win,
Yeah.
they were going crazy,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Oh yeah, of course, like they won, right?" It's like, no, they're so happy. They all got exemptions from
Yes.
military service.
Exactly.
June, getting back to the compensation, monetary compensation. What's your reaction to that? The gold medal being one-time 50K payment combined with 1,000 a month for life.
I think it's become quite a controversy in the recent days because I think the rationale of giving this money to Olympic medalists is the concept of so-called 국위선양.
Yeah.
Like you upper the national, I guess, reputation in the global stage.
Yeah.
And therefore you get awarded, right? But the controversy is, number one, it's a very vague line now of like, do only athletes do that? Because like there's this controversy for, let's say, BTS.
Yeah.
They all went to military.
Yeah, which
But I
is
think-
crazy to me, by the way. Yeah.
But I think they did more than any other athlete could have done ever.
For Korea's national like standing
Reputation,
globally. Yeah, I
right?
agree with that.
So
yeah.
the standards are kind of, vague. And so therefore there are a lot of controversies.
It gets back to fairness.
Yes. And also now that like the popularity of Olympics gone down a little bit, I think people are like, what are you doing with my taxes?
I see.
kind of.
Yeah.
But yeah. But I don't think it's not a lot of money.
It's
but
not that much, right?
But if it's
Yeah.
for a lifetime, it's like,
Still not that much.
okay.
I know it. So I was curious too because I looked it up in America. I think it's similar.
Oh, they have it too.
Yeah, so I think it's comparable. So 37.5K for gold, 22.5K for silver, and 15K for bronze in the US. And I don't believe there's any sort of lifetime pension. So. But this article states this is on the lower end for countries, I think, what they give for winning a medal for their country. Yeah, so US is on the lower end. I wanted to bring up something, June. Philippines won their first gold medal ever.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Philippines. For what?
My Filipino friend again posted about it, and I can only imagine how much pride it gives him and also their country. Their first gold medal as a country. Carlos Yulo, gold medal in floor and vault.
Oh, 1-2.
Yeah, floor and vault. I thought it was just one though.
Awesome.
But I was just gonna read what Philippines gave him. So a 2-bed condo, a house and a lot, $18,000 worth of furniture, a lifetime supply of cookies,
Cookies all of a sudden.
and free meals for life from several local restaurant chains, including a Korean fried chicken franchise and ramen bar.
But I think those are all personal deals, right?
Oh.
Starting from the cookie.
Maybe. Who knows
Yeah.
what the country gave him?
Because like, it was so weird that the country gives him free supplies of cookies. It's probably some like cookie company.
But I just suspect like there's this, like you said, there's a spectrum of when the country is trying to become a player on the global stage, they're gonna, and it's more rare for their athletes to achieve gold medals. They're gonna give more incentives.
Yeah.
And then as it becomes less, more common and less needed for the country, maybe these rewards diminish.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jesus, hold on. Singapore pays gold medalists $745,000.
745,000?
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, and Hong Kong also, gold medalists get 768,000. Yeah,
That's crazy.
that's crazy.
Maybe it's because it's also very rare that they win a gold
Exactly.
medal.
It's
Yeah.
uncommon and like
It's uncommon and they're rich.
Singapore and Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Yeah. But even Philippines gave $100,000. So. Okay, I think that's it then. Anything else related to Olympics you want to bring up?
I forgot to mention that my favorite opening ceremony was the London Olympics, not the Beijing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like London too.
Yeah. Beijing was like jaw-dropping,
Yeah.
but London was like, this is so cool.
And well thought out. And
Yeah.
yeah.
And like you can understand like their cultural power and how like basically everything came from
Yeah.
the UK. That was kind of like I was kind of jealous that they had like
So much
rich
history.
history and like cultural content and all that. Yeah.
I did bring this up on this pod before, I believe, but again, we'll never forget watching the London Olympic opening ceremony
Mm-hmm.
and just being like, every single thing that came up, I was like, wait, that's British? That's not American? And the other people in the room with me were just like laughing, like, oh my God, you're so ignorant. But I admit, I'm ignorant. I
Yeah.
thought everything, I'd say at least 50% of what I thought was American is just British.
Really? You didn't think the Beatles was from?
I mean, that's embarrassing. The Beatles, of course, I knew.
Yeah.
But if I go back and watch that,
Yeah.
there's so many other things that were like, why is that here? That's American. And they're like,
Ah.
dude, it's British. How can you think that's American?
Interesting.
I should go back and watch that Olympics
Yeah.
opening ceremony. Again, my mind was blown.
007.
Okay, again, I knew. Did I know? Maybe not. Anyway, yeah. Final random point, though. June, don't you think it's interesting when British singers sing,
Mm-hmm.
they sing with an American accent? The accent disappears when you sing. So that's my, I guess, justification for like American English being like true English.
Is it just a neutral accent though?
Yeah, I'd say it's neutral. But if anything, okay.
How can you say a neutral accent is an American accent?
Well, that's how Americans speak English, though.
Oh.
Okay, June, this is not fact check, and we'll probably cut this out. But apparently, British people used to speak English like Americans today speak English.
Mm-hmm.
But at some point, they were like, "Oh, we can't speak like the commoners or like the poor Americans.
Mm-hmm.
We have to speak British differently." So they adopted an accent to just distance themselves from the masses. And if there's not, that
This
is like the
sounds
most British thing you could do.
This sounds awfully like
American
like
propaganda?
a fake American propaganda.
We should
But wait,
fact check it, but
then like to your point of like British people singing with an American accent,
Mhm.
do you think like back in the days they sang with what is singing with a British accent though?
I'm sure you could sing and pronounce words like the
I think
British
it's just a
pronounce their
neutral.
words.
It's just neutralized, no?
I don't know. Yeah, I always thought this is why a lot of British performers.
Mm-hmm.
I never thought they were British. I just thought they were American.
Interesting.
Like Adele, when she sings, you can't tell she's British. Is she British? I think she is.
Because like the way that you can tell someone's accent is through intonations, and if you sing with melody, that's all canceled out, is it not?
Yeah.
For instance, like in Korea, there's like a Gyeongsangdo singer and like a Jeollado singer,
And when they
soul
sing,
singer.
yeah.
When they sing, I don't think they necessarily sing in a soul accent. It's just because it's just the intonations are all
Is
canceled.
the neutral?
Yeah.
But you're saying the Seoul Korean is the neutral Korean. There's no accent.
I think just there's a singing accent. It's just something else.
Wait, but you don't think that's interesting that British singers don't sound British when they sing? They just sound American?
But like,
Spice Girls.
do Southern people sound Southern if they sing?
Yes, because they sing with a Southern accent. Like country music, it comes off really strong.
How can there be an accent if you're singing with melody?
There's like a twang to it, June. For sure, country music people have like a Southern accent.
Maybe.
Anyway, okay.
Okay.
Uh,
Please leave it in the comments if you have an explanation of why British singers sing in an American accent.
June, we have a couple before we end. Let's shout out the new Patreons from last time.
I know who they are
Okay,
because I was.
you go this time then. We have
prepared.
two.
Okay. The first is Martine.
Thank you, Martine.
Thank you, Martine. And then the next is Lauren.
Thank you, Lauren.
Thank you, Lauren.
Both your support means everything to us. Thank you so much. Should
Yeah.
I do the plug?
You want to do a plug?
Do you want to do the plug?
Plug for what?
If you think this episode is worth 25
Oh,
cents.
that thing. Oh, I thought you had something else to plug in.
No, people tell us that's why they
This
join.
is the first time I'm doing it. If you think our podcast is worth 25 cents per episode, please don't hesitate to become our patron. You can have exclusive access to our Discord channel where we have a very lively discussion about all of our episodes. So, yes, thank you.
Gene, that's just false advertising. It's like there is some chatter in there, but I can't stand by and say it's a lively discussion after each episode.
It could be a lively
It could,
discussion.
that's better. It could be a lively discussion.
Yes.
But yeah, no, again, yeah, thank you again. It means so much to us, and we couldn't keep doing this without everyone's support. So,
All right.
okay, see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
June,
Yeah.
it happened again.
It happened again.
The
And then-
video died.
and yeah, at this point, it's just embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
It's the fourth time, I think.
And we've tried it cut out once on my phone recording,
Yeah.
now on your phone recording. And this time it cut out really early. Usually it cut out at
Oh.
around the 1:30 mark.
Yeah.
But this
was
time it cut out way
50
earlier.
52. So it is just random, I think.
Just feels random. But it's
And
not
I don't
battery.
even know if it's like it'll be hilarious if it's out right now.
Please say it's recording.
It's still-
Okay.
it's still recording.
But it's not. It doesn't have to do with battery. It's not on device memory.
Yeah, because first I thought it was because of the notifications, so I put it on do not disturb mode this
Yeah.
time, but it happens again. I don't even know what's going on. So what we're talking about right now is our video. We film it with our phones,
It keeps getting cut out randomly. It just
Yeah.
dies.
and so we usually
voice
edit it
just now.
out, but every so often I stand up and have to check the video. And I did like one time before it cut off, right?
Yeah.
Mm,
Anyway, we apologize to all our
Yeah, we
viewers who
apologize.
follow us on YouTube. And as June said before, one of the more unfortunate things is that we can't cut reels from the segments where we lose video.
yeah.
And for some of our previous episodes, I think some of the best reels would have come from moments that we lost video for. But anyway, if anything, let's use this as a plug. Please listen to our full episodes
Yes.
of the podcast on whatever podcast player you like. But in the meantime, yeah, we will promise to do our best to try to fix the video situation.
More importantly, if anyone's listening know the solution or the cause of this, that'll be amazing if
Please,
you can
yeah.
tell us how we can make this stop.
And it happened on both our phones. I have an Android, you have an iPhone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Anyways.
Okay. We'll do better. 죄송합니다.
죄송합니다.
We need our moment of reconciliation.
자숙이. You have the perfect clothes for this. Because you know, like Korean YouTubers,
Yeah.
when they do like the I'm sorry video,
Uh-huh.
they always come with like the
All
black
black.
to express that they're serious.
I am serious. Really sad.
Please don't hesitate to be our patron. I think this is why you do it.
No, it's good.